my principal secretary is present here, and all principal secretaries present, the leadership of KMPDU, starting with the chair, Dr. Mwachi, the SG, Dr. Davji, and if I don't mention the deputy SG, he will feel bad, Dr. Miskela, and our chair for last night, who assisted us to make progress, Dr. Shisanya. All healthcare workers across the country, fellow Kenyans, after long and painstaking negotiations that ran into the wee hours of the night for many days, I am pleased that we are finally here. We have signed a return to work formula, and the union has called off the strike. The negotiations have been tough and protracted, and I want to give it to the doctors. I thought that I knew how to negotiate and bargain, but obviously they have been very good at this, better than myself. On several occasions, we came close and indeed thought that we had arrived at a deal, but it was not to be, and we kept the country waiting. However, I want to say last night, we all found a place in our hearts to agree. And this is testament to the apostle of Paul to the Philippians. And he said, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility regard others as better than yourselves. Let each of you look not to your own interests, but to the interest of others. This agreement could not have come at a better time and without the commitment of all stakeholders involved. I want to sincerely thank the team from the Ministry of Health, my two principal secretaries, Principal Mary Mudhoni Moriuki, Principal Harry Kimtai, the Director General, Dr. Amoth, and all the officials from the ministry who have worked together with me on this issue. I also want to thank the Head of Public Service, who, under the Whole of Nation Approach Committee, has led us into these discussions. The Council of Governors, for their deliberate effort to ensure that we get a solution, and to my colleagues who have been besides me in all this. Equally, I want to appreciate the conciliators from the Ministry of Labor, together with KOTU and the Labor and Employment and Labor Relations Court, for stepping in and being patient with all of us as we went through this. To the families and patients who may have wondered when the strike will end, we understand your pain. There is no denying that this strike has caused a lot of anxiety and pain among the public, especially at a time like now when we were accelerating access to universal health coverage. However, I must in a special way applaud the many doctors who remained at work during this strike, and all other health care cadres, such as the nurses who kept our facilities operational, and of course, our community army of the community health promoters for their important role as first-line health workers at the community level. At such a time when the country is going through the flood crisis, with the deaths that we have experienced, with over the 40,000 households displaced, I can never appreciate the health workers enough, because this is the time now for us to work. Fellow Kenyans, and especially the health workers, the issue that led to this strike are systemic issues that precede the Kenya Kwanza government. And it is for this reason that I consistently emphasize that first, we must make an agreement that we can implement. And second, we must find a lasting solution to the perennial issues. I am confident that what we have signed on to today, having consulted widely, this is a deal that is going to be implemented by all of us. Last night, we left the Ministry of Health at 3 a.m. And the deal breaker was, is this a deal for execution or just for signing? And we agreed that it was a deal for execution. This strike has given us an opportunity to introspect and look inwards to see what can be done better for health workers in this country. On Monday, my colleague C.S. Machogu and myself inaugurated a joint task force to look into the production of health workers. And within the next 90 days, the Ministry of Health will also review existing staffing norms and standards, which were last published in 2016, and this will set forth the stage of us filling the gaps that have existed within the health sector. The reforms that we are undertaking are cognizant of the fact that health is a devolved function, with the HRH component shared between the two levels of government. And given this reality, it is imperative that all discussions and agreements regarding human resources acknowledge the distinct employers within the health sector. As a ministry, we are committed to this principle, and any future agreements that we enter